es la voz de LA. It's like una galaxiana, come and kick it with us. I bring the bossa nova beats and talk the club that we love. Another year to adjust, and Will Kuntz we all trust. 6 titles in the cabin, tell a hater shut up. Mirar al horizonte con el cielo morado. Llegamos al estadio como siempre lo hago. Es la nueva temporada, ya cumplí 30 años. Rezándole a San Pequi que no dé al travesaño. Que repartan los balones y no sean tacaños. Que regrese el contraataque y que le hagamos daño. Un saludo para Robert, hermanos ecuatorianos. Que la táctica de Ananda nunca sean en vano. Si se trata de mi gala me levanto temprano. Ver el fur en verano, en el pasto tumbado. Siempre estoy a tu lado, en cualquier resultado. Vamos Galaxy, on top is where I gotta be. Chilling in the canopy, staging like a winery. Goles during rivalries, brew from the refinery. Only want the finer things, we letting you know. Lo que pasa en la galaxia, ready, let's start the show.
Hello, hola, and buenas, and welcome back to another episode of La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast always made with love for all you LA Galaxy fans out there, wherever you may be, all you MLS and international soccer fans, you have a home here too. Thanks for stopping by. Today, the LA Galaxy has won 2 games in a row for the first time this year. With a 2-1 hold on to your seat, nervy home win over DC United on Saturday, July 12th. It is a win that has lifted the Galaxy off the bottom of the Supporters' Shield table for the first time this year and gives LA momentum heading into a winnable stretch of games. We'll look at what the Galaxy are doing right to start matches, how the crafty and savvy veterans led the way, Diego Fagundez's new role and him closing in on history, and a defense that is improving despite a blip and that found a way to win under intense pressure. We'll also fill you in on everything surrounding the LA Galaxy supporter group protests. Plus, the Club World Cup has a first champion, and I really don't think anyone saw it coming. All that and more coming up on tonight's episode of La Cuna Galaxiana. I'm one of your hosts, Rob Halon. You can always find my written work at the Sporting Tribune and Extra Time Talk. And you can find me online pretty much everywhere at that handle right there at El Escudero de LA. And I'm here, so you know, right next to me, as always, is El Yerno Guapo, El Gitano Perdido, and most importantly, El Papá de Nata, who was at the Digs making an appearance this past weekend, Ananda Kirana. Papa, I want to ask you, man, how was that experience of taking your pup into the park, man?
It was amazing, man. I had such a good time. It was my first time up there in the berm, so never watched the game from there. Never experienced it, and it was fun, man. The only thing I'll have to say is the incline's a bit steep, so I had to find my footing there. Maybe we have to find a little bit more of a flatter spot, maybe the top or the bottom of the berm. But no, it was cool, man. Just seeing all the pups, by the way, it was awesome. Like, I know you're a dog lover, and so am I. And bro, I literally, I'm going to be honest, my recap of this game is probably not going to be great because I was watching pups half the time and not the game. So like literally
that's all right.
Mira este fufu, mira este firulais, and they're like so cute. Like all the dogs are just playing with each other. And man, it was a dog lover's dream. It was you passed by it. I remember, we saw each other sort of towards the second half, and now it was good vibes, man. It was super good. I sat next to shout out Dave from LA is Our House and his wonderful family.
What up, Dave?
And Bruno.
And Lady Dave.
No, it was great, man. It was wonderful.
Yeah, Bruno and Natita were making a good pair there, teaming up, just kind of like any dog that kind of got within the vicinity. They were like, hey, back up.
Exactly. They're mala influencias.
Yeah, no, but I mean, can you imagine Kobe with those two now? Ooh,
sheesh.
Oh man. Anyway, we want to say what's up to chat. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and being here with us. What up, the big heck? Yo, IEG's always representing. One and only G Cam. Have a safe drive. Oh man, Big Scott. All y'all, thank you so much for being here with us once again. And Ananda, as we kind of make that march towards 700, man, I like people deserve to know that we we appreciate the love of them being here because 700 people is amazing, but we want to shout out the folks that are always with us here, ride or die, just every day, just cutting it up in the chat. We love y'all. You know what? Saying all that, to anybody that is in chat that wants to get something off the chest, hit up those super chats. If you have a question, hit up those super chats. You know what to do. And anyone listening on X or Twitter, rather, I refuse to call it X, and Instagram, you guys can go ahead and listen to this as always wherever you'd like, but it really helps us out if you jump over to YouTube at some point, hit up that subscribe or hit up that like. And yeah, Ananda, hit up your housekeeping, Papa.
Hit up otherwise housekeeping, and let's get into one-word match reactions, Papa. We don't want to skip over that. And also go ahead and have chat, go ahead and put your one-word match reactions. You know how we do in this pod. It's all about the one-word match reaction. The reason why we do it is, I mean, it basically is the most succinct version of what you thought about the game, right? You don't have to think about it too much. It's literally, it's almost like off the cuff. It's sort of a raw reaction, although it's the day after. So yeah, go ahead and put those in the chat, guys. But anyway, so a little housekeeping. You already did most of it, Papa. So all I got to say is you can always follow me, block me, or stalk me at Ananda Galaxiana, of course.
This fool.
And of course, Rob, I don't know if he said it, but you can find him on the Sporting Tribune where he's been writing. He's been learning how to read and write, guys. So he's
a little bit
pretty decent
on phonics, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It works for me, right? So there you go. So
True.
Go ahead and check out those articles. And if there's anyone in the chat today that wants to be the VP of likes, the Prime Minister of likes, go ahead, guys, and hit that like button. That's going to help out this channel. And yeah, just thank you to everyone that's subbed so far. And again, if you haven't yet, go ahead and give us a shot. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell, and so you know when we are on live. And of course, Papa, como siempre, antes de olvidarme, buenos días, tardes o noches, y bienvenidos a otro capítulo de La Cuna Galaxiana. Yeah, I mean,
there we go.
Josh said that it would get better after 200. I don't know if I'm there yet, but it'll get there. It'll get there. So,
it's a crazy time, man. It's a crazy time.
Yeah,
we live in Galaxylandia. Like, there's a lot of stuff happening that's just not even on the field. And
yeah.
you know, so it's hard to, you know, kind of be able to analyze everything in the moment. You know, these times are not for just like simple like rumination and just you know, they invite deeper analysis, but you can't do that in the moment. You know, you got to kind of be removed from it. So, yeah. But anyway, we might get into we are going to get into a little bit more on that topic. But yes, Ananda, you were going
really quick. Since we're talking about one word reactions, shout out Big Heck from the IE. My one word is flashback. Good old 2024. If I'm not mistaken, my last one word reaction was nostalgic, and is exactly that, Hector. I saw that in that second half, the Galaxy team were starting to look like their old selves again. And well, we'll talk about a little bit if their old selves showed up, or if maybe some ugly sort of ghosts from the past showed up as well in this game. And we'll talk about all of that. But let me just get into mine, Papa. Mine is needed or necessary. And it's kind of twofold, right?
Okay.
So one is I think the Galaxy needed these 3 points. Look, the reality is for the Galaxy to have any hope this season, any shot at the playoffs, they need to get the 3 points, especially at home. Yes. And so with this 3-game homestand, I'm sure Greg and the team were looking at this and saying, look, we've got to take advantage of this opportunity. It doesn't happen a lot. Like the schedule makers, it was really, really weird how they did it this year. And the fact that we have the 3-game homestand, though, now that we're in it, we got to take advantage of it. I also think it was necessary or needed for this team, Rob, because it wasn't a straightforward victory. Got a little nervy, got a little dicey at the end, gave us a little bit of a heart attack. But you know what? The Galaxy now, they need to learn games in different ways. We talked about this idea of game management. They need to win routes like Vancouver 3-0, but they also need to learn to win these tight ones, because earlier on in the season, that was not happening, and we did not know how to close out games. We did not know how to manage 90 minutes. I think this win was just necessary. Like, they needed to know how to pull this out as a team and just dig in, right? Dig in and just
kind of needed to taste this kind of victory.
They needed to figure this out again. And we'll talk about all this later too. It's like the turnover from last year. These are a new group of guys, and they got to learn how to win together. But on the flip side, I'm going to tell you from a personal standpoint, and maybe it's not a soapbox by any means, but it's just like about my thinking about myself for a second. This was a necessary game for me too, Papa. And just to kind of level set it or maybe put some context around it, I saw a really good comment. And by the way, this is a reminder for you guys that even if you're not in chat, you're listening to this on playback, you're watching this on YouTube in the future, right? In a separate multiverse. To go ahead and interact with us and leave us comments, leave us suggestions, what you want more of, what you want less of, because we love interacting with you guys there, and it helps us make the show better, right? But I saw a comment earlier this week, Rob, and it really hit home with me, and I'm just going to read it out. If you are listening, shout out at Match328 on YouTube. He says, guys, I love the podcast. I listen to every show. As a son to Salvadoran immigrants, I know the importance of what's going on, but can you put a timestamp to skip to the Galaxy talk for future shows, please? Pause. That is a excellent comment, and you know what? You guys got to call me out when I don't put my timestamps because it is a lot. You know,
we did mention it on one of the shows, right? We were like, oh, we got to put a timestamp on that one.
Yeah, it's a lot, and I totally get it. And I think we said it on that particular show, Rob, the one that this comment was on. So again, guys, you guys have very, very good suggestions, and 100%. So by the way, if you guys don't see timestamps on this video and the last one that we did with Talking Galaxy, call me out. Definitely, because I know it helps you guys. But here's the second part of that, Rob, that sort of struck a chord with me. He said, again, I love that you guys are using your platform to spread awareness, but I use this podcast to escape the real world and hear about my favorite team. And I think with just all the craziness that's happening out there, Rob, like I even get into these moments where I am literally in a doom scroll. Like I'm literally just like stuck on my phone. And I think you know me well enough, and maybe chat, this is like just opening myself up to you guys a little bit. I'm a person that gets easily anxious. Like I get anxious pretty easily. That's just part of my personality. That's just always the way I've been. Maybe it's because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, or I get paranoid about certain things. But all that stuff makes me anxious. And so when I looked at this comment, I was like, you know what? That's kind of where I am too. Is like, and going back, I'm taking this first full circle now back to the game. Just being there, man, in the lawn and the berm with my chicas, with some good company, just talking, having a couple of drinks together, sharing a conversation, sharing a laugh. To me, that was nice. It was just a nice reprieve from just everything that's going on, man. And not to say that I don't want to know about it, but it's like it gets me anxious. It's all up in my face, like all the time. And so I sympathize with that comment. And so for me, that game, for me personally, being with my pup, being with my wife, being with some good friends, that was necessary for me. And it was just nice to just kind of relax a little bit and just enjoy the game for what it is. And like the comment said, escape the real world just for the 90 minutes, because sometimes you need that break, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have put it more succinctly than what Marvin says right now. Sadly, you can't separate them at this point as one is affecting the other, at least from the fan side. And even from our side, Ananda, I mean, it's like I always joke about all the time, right?
Yeah.
I'm tired of writing the same old headline when the Galaxy were in their losing streak, right?
Right.
So you gotta write on what's out there, and you gotta talk about what's out there, especially being privileged enough to have like the gentleman Match 328 says, or gentle lady says, a platform. I don't know why anybody would listen to us, but since somebody does, that platform exists, and we have to use it for good. And I get it. You go to games and you try to have fun and you try to forget about it and stuff like that, but it's happening, and they're linked and they're mixed together. And really, that's, I mean, I don't know really who I'm railing against here, Ananda, when I say like the, forces of evil, forces of complicity and all this kind of stuff. But, when you get to that point, when you get tired, that's when you realize, like they're doing well in their aim to bog you down, to make you tired, to make you say, it isn't worth it. Let me put down the cause and I just want to rest. But what we realize is what we don't realize is a little bit of rest now means fear, restlessness later, right? So it's there comes a time when, things are necessary to be said, and it seems like that time is now. And with all that being said, yes, we will put timestamps on everything so that anybody that doesn't want to hear us on a soapbox doesn't have to, and can just go ahead and listen to the Galaxy stuff. But you can tune me out. You can tune me out as well. You can be like, hey, you know what? You can send me a message like, go to water real quick, and I'll jump on my soapbox and let the folks know. But
and just to wrap it up too, like as Marvin said, sadly you can't separate them at this point, as one is affecting the other. And that's the thing, like as I always say, Rob, and this is true for just about anything, two things can be true at the same time. Like right. I can have my little reprieve of 90 minutes, but that doesn't mean that I'm willingly ignorant. That doesn't mean that I don't want to know. It's just there's times, like just with anything in life, you just need a little break. You just want to relax.
You need a respite.
And you need a little bit of respite. And that's what that 90 minutes did for me. And it was nice. It was really nice, actually.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, people get tired. Everybody does. And they need that break just so that they can come back, and they can come back stronger. Y más cabrón, más cabrona. And give your everything to whatever you're doing, whether it be something as serious as the socio-political climate that's happening out there, or I'm just gonna go bake a cake, or go for a run.
Yeah, Rob, really quick, Scott says, with my health issues, I need to get away and just not think about things at time. I need to go scuba diving again. The peace and quiet and so relaxing. Scott, man, you do you, papa. You need to take care of yourself. Health is wealth. That's the most important thing right now. And whatever you need to do, go ahead and do it. And you know what? It just sucks too, Rob, because we live in such a world of rage bait and headliners and just like things that'll reel you in. And so, Scott, do you, papa, and Godspeed, man. I know you're going through some stuff, so for sure. And I just want to say this: thank you for letting us be a little bit of a respite and being part of your day. So thank you, papa.
You know what's crazy is that, like, I sit here and think about just I cover sports, right? And very rarely, if ever, do sports and politics usually mix. I mean, a lot more recently, but I mean, I think about my colleagues that do cover politics or do cover really heavy topics like immigration and stuff like that, and I think about, how do they do it? Like, how do they put up with the comments and hate mail and stuff like that? I'm just like, wow, it's intense. And then just what you have to see and do and write about, wow, it is intense. We're fortunate, Ananda, that we get to talk about soccer and way back when we were having a beer and having some wings, and I bet you never thought that we would be sitting here talking about a topic like this that's this heavy. But anyway, we'll move on for the moment. We do have a quick update on this Porter protest in a little bit, but moving on to some announcements. The LA Galaxy and the Leagues Cup, of course, are joining forces to try to feed the hungry. For every ticket sold for the Leagues Cup in 2025, 2 meals will be donated to those in need across North America. If for that reason alone, go ahead and get to go see the Galaxy in the Leagues Cup. Ananda, we already touched on Pups at the Pitch a little bit. You're right. It was heavenly. Just seeing all the beautiful doggies out there sporting all the.
That picture makes me happy, Baba.
Yeah, I mean, it should make you happy, man. It's. I mean, you were just talking about how it was 90 minutes of reprieve and bliss, and brought to you, aka Natita, my sobrina, right there. Man, she's sporting that Modelo bandana, pretty fierce, man.
Un regalito de tío Roberto, so you gotta represent. Gotta
represent. Guys, if you missed this one for whatever reason, and you're silly if you did, because it was, like I said, heavenly. August 10th, August 30th, and September 20th are 3 other opportunities to do Pups at the Pitch. The September 20th game, there will be a doggy park at LA Galaxy Park. There's going to be giveaways, doggy activities, and all that kind of good stuff. And if you're already a season ticket member, you get a ticket if you go into your fan account and add it. If you are not, you can go ahead and pick one of these tickets up for $35. If you missed this menace drop the first time around, Ananda. Since we're speaking about missing things, now you have the opportunity to pick up the OG, which was the green colorway with the yellow and red and black accents. But now you have the opportunity to pick up the. Are we still not calling this purple, Ananda? I don't know. Like, did we get a final verdict on whether this was purple or not? Or like,
it's got to be purple, right? It's based on the new colorways, right? Or the new kit.
I just remember when we were talking about the Ryzen kit like way back in the day, and
Violet.
People were saying it was peach. I think the Manny was saying it was peach, and anyway, but
I think what we're saying it's not purple and gold, that's for sure. It's like a purple and peach, I guess. It's like a peach tone. It's not gold. It's not gold, that's for sure.
Okay, well, there's also the blue with the yellow, blue and yellow, obviously. Yeah. And this is dropping tomorrow. If you're listening to this live, this is dropping tomorrow. If you're listening to this later, then just go ahead and check on it. But drops July 15th. First season ticket members, you have a full 24 hours before everybody else to go ahead and pick this up, starting at 10 a.m. And then for everybody else, it goes live at July 16th. And I don't have an official price for you, but the last one was what I seem to remember it was being like in like $130, $140 range, or was it a little more than that?
I want to say it was close to $2, Papa.
Ooh.
I want to say I know.
There is no way the Minister of Finance is in that.
Shout out to Steve and the Menace crew though. They're doing good things out there.
I mean, Steve and the Menace crew is killing it. Not even just with their Galaxy stuff, man. Like,
correct.
I keep track on what his crew is doing, man. They're doing big things over there and creating a lot of good stuff. So shout out to them. Hopefully Steven comes on the show one day and he tells us all about like the creative process and stuff like that. So shout out Steven, open invitation, come on through, man. El Tráfico watch party is going down on the 19th at Galaxy Park. Doors open at 6:30. Kickoff is at 7:30. And of course, this is a free event. So if you won't be at El Tráfico at BMO, go ahead and check this one out. Definitely be with some Galaxy community. Ananda, jumping into some transfer news. This is seismic if this one actually happens, and it, by all intents and purposes, it seems like it's going to happen. According to Fab Romano, who's kind of been reporting on this, the Stash Tommy Bogart's also been reporting on this. Rodrigo de Paula to Inter Miami is about 85% ready to happen or done. The reports are that this deal is worth $16 million plus $1 million in add-ons. He will be Inter Miami's new DP. I think the plan is to buy down Sergio Busquets somehow, and I believe, or what the rumors are anyway, is that they will be announcing Rodrigo de Paula and Lionel Messi's contract renewal at the same time. And this photo here in 2023 might be when it all went down and it all started. Like, hey, should we get this group together here? De Paul's famous for sporting Beckham looks, and now he is going to be playing for him, seemingly, and playing for the man he usually protects on the Argentina national team, Lionel Messi. Now they'll be teammates at Inter Miami. Ananda, what does this signing represent for Inter Miami? What does it represent for MLS? And does this make Inter Miami instant MLS Cup favorites?
Well, let me start with this. It represents another way to circumvent the rules and bend them, not break them. Like Marvin G says in this comment, how is Miami not breaking any salary rules? Again, okay, I'm being sarcastic, I'm being facetious, but that was the first thing that popped into my mind, right? So that aside for a second, if this is legally done, look, Rodrigo de Paul, I haven't watched him recently, but if I think about his time earlier in Atletico Madrid, if I think about his performance at the Copa America, for example, right, for Argentina, he's a very good player. In fact, I would actually play him in the DM position instead of Busquets. I think Busquets is way past it. You can see even in the Club World Cup, Busquets, as soon as he gets a little bit of pressure, he tends to lose the ball now more often than not. He isn't as slick. He doesn't get away from defenders or from the attackers that press on him as well as he did before. So if you're talking about that as a swap, that's That's a huge upgrade for me.
Huge
But in
upgrade.
but in terms of whether they're instant MLS Cup favorites, look, I think this might help going towards this deficiency, but I think their biggest deficiency is at the back, Rob. It's their back four. It's their center backs. I think that's the one thing that's going to hold Inter Miami back this year. I mean, granted, if you look at the sort of stats, the goals against, they've given up 30 goals this year. Okay, that's probably like middle of the pack. I see some teams in there like DC United and Montreal giving up 40 goals, for example. It's not terrible. And we've seen, Robert, last year, what happens when you have an elite attack and just a good enough defense, right? You can win MLS Cup that way. But that is the one thing, if you go up against a hot team in the playoffs, that's going to come back and bite you, right? So if this was like, I don't know, if they were signing like even like Koulibaly or like some like top veteran center back, like I'd be like, oh, interesting. Like that would help it. But Rodrigo de Paul, really good player, but I just don't know if that fixes their number one deficiency, you know?
I don't know. I see him kind of as that link between the front and the back, right? Because he'll kind of be there shielding that back four, and he also has that really good connection with Messi. Messi's know to drop and pick up the ball. So I see them being able to link up both sides of the pitch pretty well here. I don't see, like you said, how this isn't a win. You mentioned that this is a huge upgrade over Busquets, when he was a young man and he was on his day, one of the finest sixes in the world, but now he doesn't have the legs. Rodrigo de Paul is much more mobile. I believe he's 31, so he's still got a couple really good years left in him. And if he does come to Inter Miami, I mean, they're pretty much stacked everywhere. People are in the chat pretty upset and saying, how's this happening? Where they're getting the money? I mean, FIFA and MLS are
cooking the books, Pottermus.
Yeah, cooking the books, man. But no, I mean, you got to think about it this way. If they're finding the loopholes to exploit the rules, good on them. I mean, they're there to be exploited if you figure out how.
Hey Baba, we found the loopholes too, and then we got a transfer ban for that.
No, I'm talking about the legal loopholes. I'm talking about
gotcha.
Yeah. No, I'm not talking about any of that Chris Klein.
Good old Carlos Barbo.
Exactly. Hey, really quick. I didn't even mention that I was gonna bring this up, but it just occurred to me that since we're talking about transfer rumors right now, I did have an opportunity to talk to Julian Aude about his transfer situation in the post-match press conference post DC. And it doesn't seem like, at least from his end, there's nothing doing there. It seems like he's concentrating on hammering down that spot here for the Galaxy, and now that he's getting the chances, trying to take that by the scruff of the neck, he seems very serious about cementing his place. He kind of just smiled and laughed, actually, when I brought it up. I said these links refuse to die down, and he just pretty much dismissed them.
Attaboy.
Yeah, so it seems like he's there, and he's dedicated, and he's trying to get that spot.
Nice.
So
Vamos, Juli.
Just like you said, that a boy. So Ananda, the last bit of news here, before we go into everything surrounding the sand protests here, is the FIFA Club World Cup. Did you, at the beginning of this tournament, have any inkling or just think that Chelsea had any chance of winning this tournament? Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, where were you?
No way. Like 3, like 2 or 3. I thought the top few were Real Madrid, PSG, maybe a Man City, but probably not. Probably they're a little bit lower in the scale.
Is any of that Arsenal bias?
No, it's just, what? Like, you saw the season that they had last year. Yes, they won the Conference League, but they never pulled it together under Enzo Maresca until that final. But here's the one thing about Chelsea is they have loads of attacking talent, Papa. They just sold one of their attacking talents to Arsenal for about 50 million quid. right? And so and they just literally hoard talent. Joao Pedro, they just signed him for the Club World Cup, and bang, like he's a hit. Another ex-Brighton lad, by the way. Funny that relationship between those two clubs, but anyways, that's another story for
It's
another
like
day.
Southampton and Liverpool.
It's like Chelsea and Arsenal, man. So less of that. Yeah, less of that.
Ouch.
You know. So, anyways, that's another conversation for another day. But yeah, no way. Yeah, no, maybe like second, third tier, but probably a 2 or 3 out of 10. I thought there was maybe 3 or 4 teams above them. But man, credit to them, and credit to Enzo Maresca, and credit to Cole Palmer, by the way, who apparently he's in the chat and he says, "Rob, the rumors are false. I will not sign with the LA Galaxy."
Thanks,
And he also
Cole, for
and he
listening
also gave me a brilliant marketing idea. Health is wealth. Put that on a shirt. Love it.
Cole, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. We do appreciate it. Man, I promised I wasn't going to share your DMs about how you said this is, your favorite podcast and it's so inspirational to you, but the cat's out of the bag because you went and hung a brace on PSG, the European champions. So for anybody that missed it, that's pretty much what happened. Just Cole Palmer showed up and showed out. Chelsea beats PSG, the European champions, 3-0. Cole Palmer scores a brace, pretty much unplayable, at least in the first half. And I'm pleased to say that because of this result, Ananda, congratulations to Niño Moises Isaac Caicedo Corozo, the first Ecuadorian world champion. Man, is that just a beautiful sight right there. And what's even more beautiful is that this man went out and quickly acknowledged and showed love to his beautiful Ecuadorian mama and shared this with her. So as a United fan, I really hate seeing Chelsea do well, but I love seeing this man do well, even if I don't know about this blonde ambition that he's got going on. But congratulations to Caicedo.
I'm going to call it out right now. You boys get a striker, and Ecuador is going to be a problem in the World Cup.
That's all I'm going to say. Problem.
That's all I'm going to say. Or just not even a striker, just a winger, just a bagsman from any of those front positions. You guys are going to be a problem, Papa. You guys are going to be a problem for sure.
Oh, I wish that happens. It would be wonderful to see Latri do well here on soil or Mexico or Canada, wherever they're going to play. Hopefully I am there. Well, guys, we told you we would come back to this, and again, if you're not really about it, tune out for like the next 10 to 15. We're going to give you our update here about the LA Galaxy supporter protest that is ongoing. Before we go any further, free Nestor. Ananda, I don't really know the particulars about Nestor's situation, but I do know that he was in detention. So free Nestor. And we'll kick it off with news surrounding or involving one of our friends of the show. Just last week on Monday, we featured this guy, Bruce Martin, and Mayo Cataban. So he shared on Thursday this letter that he got from the organization, pretty much banning him indefinitely. And this is kind of, if we're backing up a little bit, in the wake of the first week of protests, so that would have been game one, he was interviewed by the LA Times and by a colleague of mine, Eduardo, and it was a prominent story in the LA Times in Espanol. He and Gloria, who's ACB president, were interviewed. And now in the wake of everything that's happened, Bruce, put out there that, he was contacted by someone within the organization trying to, kind of ask what his thoughts were about, the interview and stuff like that. And then, a couple of days later, he gets the ban. And according to the letter, it's because he was misusing his press credentials to bring in an unapproved or a banner that was like over approved size. So understandably, Mayo was upset. He put out this statement, and Ananda, it's a continuation of everything that's going on. I mean, the Galaxy supporters were already upset that the organization hadn't made a statement, or and when I say supporters, I mean supporter groups. There are some Galaxy fans out there who are perfectly okay with the organization not making a statement. But when I say the supporters, I mean the supporter groups in this context. So, like I said, this is kind of a continuation of that. Supporters were already disappointed at that, upset with that, and this is just kind of like another log on the fire, right? There's people out there who have said that this is retaliation. There are people out there who have put out videos of support for the organization and said that, you know, the better off without the supporter groups. But what we do know is that Bruce is banned indefinitely at this point. He does have 7 days to appeal from the moment he got the letter, so I'm not sure if he's going to do so, but you know, he is a friend of the show and we'd like to show him our support and solidarity. You know, and man, it sucks because he is one of the Galaxy supporters that I know that loves the team the most, as evidenced by the wonderful photos that he puts out. This is an example. This is where my heart lies, is a book of just beautiful scenes of Galaxy fandom. So anyway, gonna be missing you, Bruce. Hopefully I see you around. So while this is all going on, like Ananda always says, you know, you can walk and chew or drink water at the same time. What is that you say, Ananda?
You mean two things can be true at the same time?
Yeah, something like that, right? Two things can be true at the same time, right? So while this is happening to Bruce, on the other side, apparently heard through several sources that there were several personal attacks against Galaxy employees as well. People, fans, supporters going into DMs and socials and pretty much letting Galaxy employees know, you know, their displeasure, and so much so that one felt that they needed to leave. Can you imagine just, you know, getting that much heat that you feel like I have to leave my job? So I don't know. No se me hace bien tampoco. You know, there's a lot of people at the team that share exactly the same sentiments that the supporters do, that wish they could put out some kind of statement or do something and even are behind the scenes. But I don't feel like it should delve into personal attacks, Ananda.
Agreed.
Yeah, when it gets into personal attacks, it gets a little bit too far. And that's why, and that's precisely why I feel like there's so many people upset about the Bruce thing, because that feels kind of like a personal thing as well. But like I said, it is a crazy time to be a Galaxy fan, and this is not going to end, because the continuation of the fan protest, the silent protest, continues on Wednesday versus Austin. So we already know that there will be fan action for Wednesday. It invites the question: will Galaxy supporter groups be at El Tráfico? If they are, in what capacity? Will they be protesting there? And you know, this is again a continuation of their action from the moment, you know, the Galaxy decided they weren't going to make a statement. They kind of suspended all activities. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen for El Tráfico. But as soon as we have any news in that regard, we will go ahead and let you know. Scott W. with the hot fire breaking news: my rep quit after the ring game debacle. That's probably a good game to quit after, though. It was
That was gnarly too.
We covered that too. And that wasn't the finest moment. But man, yeah, what a time to quit. But somehow it tells me right now is kind of a little bit more of a delicate moment. But and I'll end with this. I already mentioned, wherever you lie, whatever you believe, there are people at the team that are good people, that have nothing to do with the decisions being made that people aren't in favor of, and that also goes to the players. There have been moments when the fans have voiced their displeasure at the players. The players are out there to win games, so remember to support the players. If anything, even if you have a gripe with the FO and the ownership and their actions, remember to support the players and go ahead and I've seen a lot of people out there that say, I'm going to keep supporting the players and the team, but I'm going to show my displeasure by not giving them any money or not doing this or not doing that. So that's all I would say is show the players love, because they are going out there and working hard, and you can see it in these past couple of games for sure. And
well, I was gonna say, like, and and I think people that are doing that, fans that are doing that, everyone's entitled to support their team however they want, right? And I think that's part of this too, Rob, which is just a little bit heartaching and heartbreaking for me, is just the judgment that's being passed, the lack of empathy and sympathy for each other. So, again, you do you, and you're going to support your team however you want. But like Rob said, and I 100% agree with this, once it gets personal, I think you've just crossed the line, and that's that hurts. That hurts me for sure.
I want to say hello to El Primo Comments 96, El Primo Matthew. Thank you so much for always being here with us, man. We do appreciate it. Let's go ahead and wrap up the news section here up with Marco Reus being named to MLS Team of the Match Day. The man is on fire. Reus, congratulations. That's 12-12, Ananda. The man is on fire right now. That's 12 goal contributions in 12 games. So if you didn't watch the match and you need a quick catch up, the Galaxy earned their third consecutive win at the Digs, their second in a row. And if you've ever watched the movie Major League, there's that scene where Lou Brown's like, if you win 2 games, that's 2 in a row. 3 is called a winning streak. It has been done. And darn it, the Galaxy are just 1 win away from that winning streak. And G Camp says the Duke of Dortmund, yes, that man, along with his 12th goal contribution, leads the way. He and Diego Fagundes tally the game-winning goals in this win over DC United. These veterans powered the Galaxy to this win with their savvy and just at times poised and calm on the ball. So Reus led the way for the Galaxy again after starting and ending a corner kick, which ended up being a recycled corner kick. After United fails to clear a Galaxy corner, the ball falls to Mateus Nascimento. Ananda, they gave this man the assist, and I'm okay with it, but I think he kind of just sticks his foot out and tries to get to this, and it just kind of fell kindly to Reus. But I think he'll be okay with getting the assist. Reus comes up with the ball from Nascimento, and he just puts his laces through to beat Luis Barraza at the far post. Diego Fagundes got a goal in the second half, and what turned out to be the game winner, and it's pretty much being in the right place at the right time. He picks up a deflected Joseph Painstill shot, and he just pretty much passes with force past Barraza into the left corner. Barraza does get his palms to it, but can't keep it out. The Galaxy go ahead 2-0 in the 53rd minute, and it's good that they got an insurance goal because Gabriel Pirani gets the lone goal for DC United in the 77th minute, and they put on a good show of trying to get that equalizer, and indeed they hit the post. They had a play at the back post or if somebody had just met that ball, we'd be talking about a Galaxy tie at the moment. But somehow, some way, the Galaxy survive. They get their second straight win, and they seem to be rolling at the moment. Ananda, let's start where we always start. Let's look at this. Look at the starting lineup, which didn't change.
Yeah, it didn't change, and that's what I sort of expected coming into this game. Now, we may see some changes over the next few. Again, Greg has to manage these situations. We got a midweek game, right? And then followed by El Tráfico just a week or less than a week now from today. So he's got to manage that squad and the roster. But I said coming into the last game, let's ride the hot hand, and I'm kind of glad he did. The one that I'm most sort of pleased about or excited about is we get to see Julian Aude 4 straight times pop off, his 4th straight start. And again, we can talk a little bit about his performance, but I thought he was very, very good on the day. The thing about Julian that I enjoy watching, that I really like, is just he's got that high starting position. He's very attacking, and he joins the attacks, and he just has a little bit more attacking quality than John Nelson, which, again, at this point in the season, you don't have a guy like Ricky Puig, for example. Your offense is getting there, but you need as many people or as many players that can make the difference in those attacking actions. I think Julian is one of those guys that can do that for you. Also, he's got a really nice stride, a really long stride, so he can break away from pressure with his dribble, and he gets stuck in, man. Saw a few sliding challenges. He got stuck in for sure, and I remember distinctly a couple of times where the crowd went up and applauded him for those efforts. Just him and Edwin Cerrillo, I remember they got some standing O's for sure for a couple of their sliding challenges. So that was nice to see as well.
Yeah, that's what the fans want to see. They want to see some ganas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, this lineup wasn't a surprise. I mean, it had done well, so it was good to see them come out again with the same lineup, especially Aude repaying the faith of Greg Vanney and getting his 4th start. I don't know if you caught it, Ananda, but Diego Fagundes actually became part of the press corps for a moment and asked Julian Aude a question. He said, "Who told you to do your hair like that?" He was trying to roast him fierce, man. And then Aude just responded, "My girlfriend." So that's a smart man.
Man. Yeah.
Doing lo que la novia quiere. Good job. Anyway, Ananda, getting into some stats here about this match. In the last 6 matches, dating back to May 31st, the Galaxy have a 3-1-2 record. During that stretch, Nascimento has totaled 5 goal contributions, and we've already talked about Marco Reus, but dialing in a little bit even more closely. We've talked about the 12 and 12 already for him, but in the last 5, he has 2 goals and 4 assists. So he's really stepped it up. Everybody was calling him out at the beginning of the year for being injured, for not being available. Well, we see what we can do when he's available. We've said it before. It's almost like he had a good career in Europe or something like that before he came here, right? So he did get his 5th goal of the season in this win, and Nascimento got his 3rd assist of the season on the play, which ended up being credited as an assist, and now he has 5 goal contributions, 2 goals and 3 assists in his last 6 appearances. Diego Fagundes, who got the 2nd goal and the winning goal, that was his 4th goal of the year. He inches ever closer to the 80-80 club. He has 77 goals and 76 assists in 413 career MLS regular season matches. 306 of those are starts. If Diego Fagundes gets to the 80-80 club this year, he would be only the fourth MLS player to do so. He would be in some fine company like Landon Donovan and Jaime Moreno. So it would be fantastic if he were able to get to that benchmark this year, and that would just give Galaxy fans something else to celebrate, and him as well. Guys, we did let you know that this was the 52nd meeting between these teams. The Galaxy now lead that series 23-18-11, and that now leaves the Galaxy unbeaten in their last 11 played against DC United. Ananda, what is, maybe a reason for this Galaxy win. Let's look at some stats here.
Yeah, I mean, interesting in that I have a couple slides for this because I thought if you parse this out a little bit, I think it tells a little bit more of the story. But if you look at the final box score, Rob, I mean, again, probably things pointing to a Galaxy win, but again, it didn't. If you look at this way, I don't think it told the whole tale of the story. But you look at the Galaxy, they're 56% possession to DC United's 44, 13 shots to DC United's 11, 5 shots on goal for the Galaxy, 3 for DC United, 6 block shots for the Galaxy, 4 for DC United. Total passes. This is a key. This is a good one to see if you're a Galaxy fan. 702 total passes to 515. I think
like back in the day.
That just shows the dominance. But again, I think we're going to double click on that a little bit to see how maybe there was something, another story to be told there. We did that at a 90% clip. And expected goals 1.6 for DC to LA Galaxy's 1.2. So even though we had a little bit less of the expected goals, maybe the key chances, we buried our chances at the right moment. But I think I want to parse this out a little bit, Rob, because for me, this game flipped on its head in the second half, especially really ironically after we scored the second goal and when Christian Benteke came in the game. So you look at those stats. So the stats on the left are in the first half. The stats on the right are in the second half. It kind of was a little bit of a tale of two halves, Rob. You look at in the first half, we had 69%, basically 70-30. Whereas in the second half, it evened out to about 55-45. Expected goals, the Galaxy had 0.79 in that first half to 0.18. And then in the second half, you see DC there, 1.37 to 0.73 with 9 shots versus R4, whereas we dominated the first half 10-2 in total shots. So I think you could see there that to me, the game switched when, again, like I said, ironically, we scored that the second goal, Diego's second goal. And as soon as they brought on Benteke, they decided, okay, we're going to get after the Galaxy. We've got to chase this game now. And up to that point, DC United were dropping back, Rob. Their line of confrontation was not very high. They were saying to the Galaxy, like, we're going to give you guys possession and you guys break us down. But as soon as they were chasing the game, I think they just upped their energy, upped their dueling capacity. I saw us lose a lot of those second balls, third balls, some of those 50-50 duels. We were getting out-dueled in certain moments. And in fact, it led to DC United's first goal, right? I think we lost a challenge somewhere, a little dink over the top, and they were in. And so those are alarm bells for me. And this is why this game got a little nervy in those last 25, 30 minutes as soon as that happened. So DC changed it up. We didn't respond. We didn't react to it in the best way. But again, credit to the Galaxy to sort of, grind this one out. And Rob, I think for me, and we've talked about this before, and this is going to lead a little bit to our talking points. I'm going to start doing this a little bit now, which is maybe there's a one key stat that sticks out to me in this game. This is the one for me. Duels 1, LA Galaxy 56, DC United 42. And I think, again, that's big. We always talk about you got to earn the right to play the game.
Ganas.
And we won just enough duels in that second half to, again, just be defensively resolute. Again, a couple hairy moments. There was a header that just went wide off of the far post. I remember that one. Benteke was just a smidge offside. So there's a couple nervy moments. But, going to our talking points, Rob, I thought I'm going to play this clip, and I think it'll set us up beautifully for these conversations. Greg was asked by friend of the show, the Honorable Judge Sophie Nicolau, of course. And she asked Greg, basically, what's been the main difference, not only in this game, but the last few games versus earlier in the season? And I think Greg, I thought, made some really interesting points that we've been talking about a little bit on this show, but he sort of crystallized those. And I want to play this clip, and then we'll go ahead and talk about these talking points. So here is your head coach, guys, Greg Vanney.
Yeah, I think a couple. This one is inside of the way we play. It's really important for us to win the midfield, and I'm saying that with the ball, without the ball, it's really just important for us to win the midfield. And the stretch where we had 2 games over the course of 4 weeks, we spent a lot of time and energy working on our midfield play and the connection of the guys in the midfield. And it's no secret that's where we lost some of the guys from last year, and that's where some of our newer players are coming into this year. And so we spent just a lot of time trying to really emphasize those connections and relationships and the things that we find that are important inside of what we want to do. That's one. And the second is defensively, just we had to eliminate the way we were giving up goals. We were, like I said, we were undermining what might have been decent performances at times with just goals that we can't give up if we want to win games. And so solidifying those two things, obviously finishing off some chances that we've been getting, which I think has been coming, but getting, Joe, Gabe, Marco, Nasi, those guys kind of connected and flowing up there so that we can put things away. But there's pieces that I feel like have been coming together, but our focus has been a lot on some of the defensive stuff in the back and some of the midfield play that we think is so important to our style of play and the things that we want to do.
Yeah. I mean, two very interesting points. And I want to start with that last one, right? Defensive lapses, defensive errors. And in this game, there was easily moments in that game. I mean, even Pottermus put it in the chat. Galaxy hanging by their fingernails in the second half. And it really was. And Rob, earlier in the season, we've seen those defensive lapses hurt the Galaxy. You remember that last-minute goal in San Diego. You remember that last-minute goal in Philly away. You remember the banana hands moment of John McCarthy in the second half late against Orlando. Damn. And, of course, João Klaus masterclass. Should have walked away with that game in 3 points. Instead, we walk away with 1. But in this game, the Galaxy found a way to win. And I think eliminating those defensive errors, like Greg talked about in his second point, I think that was huge, man. And so, like I said in my one-word reaction, this game was necessary. The Galaxy needed to find their muscle memory back to win these tight games and get all 3 points or maximum points, whatever the game allows us to have, whether that's coming back to get a point away from home or whether that's all 3 points at the digs. So I thought this was an important step, man.
Yeah, and Greg talked about it as well. The Galaxy needed to win that midfield. They certainly have put performances together here where you're starting to see a midfield come together, and it's interesting to think that it's not the midfield that we thought we would see. It's this midfield of Marco Reus, Diego Fagundes, and Edwin Cerrillo, who is now the only player from that 2024 starting midfield that is on the pitch. But Diego's found a new role there in the midfield, and he's kind of relegated Lucas Sanabria to the bench. As Lucas learns the system more and gets acclimated more, Diego has stepped into that role, and he, instead of being a traditional looking number 10 now, is kind of that player that drops deep to pick up the ball, kind of like Ricky was doing last year and trying to get the play started. He spoke about it a little bit as well, and he said that he just wants to help the team where he can, but he's fortunate that he has a really creative player in front of him like Marco Reus to link up with. And so you're starting to see the fruits of those labors, the understanding come together between that midfield, and it's allowing this Galaxy team to be more fluid now. And as a consequence of them being more fluid, they're starting to win games. And as a consequence of them winning games, Ananda, is there hope?
Oh, man. You know what I'm going to say, Papa. It's what kills us, right? But, yeah, we talking about playoffs? Talking about playoffs already? Anyways, I'm going to let's pick this apart as we always do to do a little bit of math. So I pulled up the standings here, guys. This is the latest standings. Galaxy are sitting at 15 points. That is currently 12 points below the current playoff line. So that's 4 wins, right? 12 points
with the chance to make it 9.
With the chance to make it 9, and again, importantly, I've talked about earlier these sort of 6-point games, right? You're going to face the team that's holding that 9 spot. You better get all 3 points, and you better, bring them closer to you rather than create that separation. But, and I'm going to pull this up for context too. This is sort of the rest of the schedule, at least for July, heading into Leagues Cup. Because I think we've got to count that segment after Leagues Cup probably as its own mini season, because a lot of rhythm is going to break up, etc. Leagues Cup, I mean, God forbid if we get any injuries or knocks or naggles in that tournament. But let's do some simple math, Rob. So let's assume like 45 points seems to always be a good cutoff line, right, to make the playoffs.
9 games left after the break.
9 games left after the break, but let's just start it from now. So we've got 12 games left now. And so that's a maximum of, if I do my maths correctly, that would be 36 points. So to get to even 45 points, Rob, the Galaxy need to win basically 10 of their last 12, which is a crazy pace, or any combination they're out, right? So I think realistically, still mathematically, this is going to be super tough. Now, if you say you're going to win out, or maybe just go 2 wins and a draw heading into Leagues Cup, now you're going to see where that cutoff is, and to see, hedge your bets at that point, and sort of, look at what the situation is. Because again, 2 things have to happen. The Galaxy have to win, but also we need help to make sure that playoff line is getting closer to us than that separation. So it's still going to be super tough, man. I mean, that's like Supporter Shield winning pace for the rest of the year.
But look, I mean, let's look at a world where the Galaxy are in a 2-game win streak right now, if that's even the streak. The official streak is at 3, but anyways, let's say for posterity that they beat Austin. They're riding that high. They go to BMO over the weekend. They win on Tráfico, and then they take 3 points off of 10th place Houston, who by that point will have probably moved up or down in the table. But let's just say they're in another 6-pointer with Houston, right?
Yep.
They've just taken 15 out of 15 available points, right before the Leagues Cup. They're sitting on 24 points, 9 games left, 27 points left, right? So what do you say the magic number is?
Like 45. Just make it simple. 30 points.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So at that point, it would have to be 9 games left, 27 available points. They would have to go 20 for 27 points in the last little mini season there, right after Leagues Cup. So is it doable? Yes. Is it improbable? Also, yes. Are Galaxy fans going to be hoping for it anyway? Yes, and yes.
And our Galaxy fans going to still do math? Yes, because we're doing it right now, and that's always like a dangerous place to be, right? When you're doing math this early in the season.
That's the negotiation phase of of the acceptance. Oh my God.
Man. But yeah, these games are really important, Rob. I think I would say this. I think we could have a more serious conversation about this rather than a little bit tongue in cheek. If we do reel off a win against Austin, a win against BMO, a win against Houston, even 7 points out of 9. And you look at, now you're going to look at where that cutoff is now.
Did you just call LAFC BMO?
I said at BMO, right? Not BMO. Yeah. No,
I
I said at BMO, at Houston, well, at LAFC, whatever, up to 110. But then we can have a more serious conversation. But again, we need to see where that playoff line is. I mean, if we win 3 in a row, I'd be like, let's tank Leagues Cup at that point, right? Kidding. But you know what I mean? It's like, that's
you use the Leagues Cup to keep playing yourself into form.
That's the worst. That's the worst momentum breaker. And again, this is so. Let's talk about the wild card though, that may give Galaxy fans hope again if we get some results over the next few games. And I want to put this into context really quick, Rob. So I thought about Inter Miami in 2023, right? Inter Miami at this point in the season, so after 22 matches, just like the Galaxy, they had 18 points before Leagues Cup. Of course, at that point, they just signed Messi, Alba, Busquets, the whole band, went through that tournament and won Leagues Cup, right? Unfortunately, though, when they came back to the league, I think Messi got a muscle injury sometime in September. He missed 4 or 5 games, and that kind of derailed really their charge over the play. Because, I mean, I think the narrative after they won Leagues Cup was like, hey, can they make the playoffs? Like, is this going to be a historic run? Ultimately, they finished 14th place with 34 points. But in our case, we've got Ricky, right? We don't know when he's going to come back, but if he comes back at the right time and we're thereabouts mathematically, we still have a mathematical chance Who knows? But again, you've got to get either maximum points or probably at a minimum 7 out of 9 to even have that conversation. So that's all. I'll leave it at that. We got to win.
All right, check it out. So this stat is courtesy of our good friend Gunnar from Soccer in 60. He says Galaxy has now gotten 11 points from its last 6 games and 6 points from its last 3 games. That's 1.83 per game and 2.0 per game respectively over the course of a season. Those per game stats put a team in Supporter Shield contention. So they're already kind of, according to Gunnar, they're already kind of showing Supporter Shield form at the moment with what they're doing. So if they're able to maintain, it's, what do we all say, Ananda? The stats don't lie, math doesn't lie, the numbers don't lie. I mean, if they keep it up, who knows? Galaxy fans could be, copping more hope, and who knows where it'll end up at the end of the season.
We also say it's the hope that kills you. So there you go. Just keep winning, Galaxy. just like the thumbnail of this video says, just keep winning, and we'll have that conversation later.
GCam, you're right. Hips do not lie. Anyway, so we do have a defending the badge winner for you. We do have 4 candidates as well. Amiro Garces, Julian Aude, Diego Fagundes, and Marco Reus. Marco Reus, of course, had a goal, 2 chances created, 1 clearance. Diego Fagundes had a goal, 1 chance created, 5 recoveries. Julian Aude, 2 chances created. Ananda, that's what you were talking about, getting involved in the attack. Yep. 4 passes in the final third, 1 clearance, 1 interception, 4 recoveries. Amiro Garces had a fantastic game, 94% pass accuracy, 2 chances created, 1 block, 4 clearances, 1 interception, 4 recoveries. And Ananda, this is what you were talking about as well. Those duels won, 8 out of 9 for Amiro. Who would you have picked this week, Ananda?
Well, I thought Marco, to me, was the player of the game. I mean, he was pulling the strings again, Papa. He's been the best player. But again, defending him, the badge is not always that. I'm actually going to give this one to Julian Aude. Okay. I think over the last 4 games, Rob, you think about the position that this kid's in. He's basically, at that point, we didn't know what his status was in terms of, is he going to be the starter? We had debates on the show with, you're going to invest that much in a guy and just bench him. It doesn't make sense. It's the same conversation we had with Novak, right? But I think he's held his own very well these last 4 games. I think I've seen progression over the last 4 games. I think, like I said, he had a couple of tackles in there in that last game where he got a couple standing O's from the crowd, or at least some applauses. I heard it right in the 200 section for sure. They were applauding some of the challenges that he was making. And, you always talk about defending the badge, suda por la camiseta. Not only does this kid suda por la camiseta, but for at his age, just dealing with that pressure of, this is his chance, man. Because if he messes this up, John Nelson's going back in, and he might have to look for a move elsewhere, right? But so I'm going to give him a lot of credit for taking this opportunity. And again, for me, that's part of defending the badge. And then on top of that, man, you look at, I listened to his post-game presser. Shout out for him for trying to adapt and learn a new language. Shout out to him for taking answers in English. And he just seems like he has a really calm presence. He's got, I know this for a fact because you've talked to, and you've had the pleasure of meeting his parents. He has an awesome support system, an amazing backbone, a really, really good shoulders on his head. So yeah, man,
he has a really good sense of humor. He's quiet, but he has a really good sense of humor.
And that too. And I think I'm going to give him this defending the badge because, like I said, he's taking advantage of a situation, and that's all you want. That's all you ask for from a fan's perspective. And these players that get their opportunities, show the fans something, show your coach something, show the team something, like make the team and the club remember why they invested that much in you. And I think Julian's starting to show that game by game. So I like what I'm seeing, man. I like what I'm seeing.
And for me, I'm going to go with another youngster, actually. I'm going to go with Amiro. I mean, he's looked pretty good since his return. There was a benching for Amiro after that 7-0 in New York. Took a couple of games for him to just sit. Greg did, and now that he's back, I don't really feel like he's put a foot forward.
He's been good.
That's wrong, right? He's been pretty solid, as evidenced by those duels won, and that's kind of what you want to see as well. Ananda, you were talking about, Suda la camiseta and defending the badge, and yeah, man, 8 out of 9 duels won, 95% pass accuracy for this young player. Fantastic work. But of course, it doesn't matter what you and I, that's a shot for you, sir.
That's one for
doesn't
GCAM.
matter. Yeah, that's one for GCAM for sure. Just not while he's driving. But it's no surprise here. Marco Reus, the team of the Matchday Galaxy player, also wins Matchday 24, defending the badge. And the Galaxy are going to want him to continue that fine form because they kick off with Austin in just a couple of days now. Here, as we record, it's Monday. They kick off in 2 days on Wednesday. Let's look at where these two teams stand going into this one. The Galaxy, after 22 matches, hold a 3-13-6 record. They're on 15 points, 0.68 points per game, negative 19 goal differential, still 15th in last place in the Western Conference. However, they are now 29th in the Supporters Shield table, so they are not last place in that one. They've only lost once in the last 6 games. They've scored 6 goals in the last 3, and they've earned a result in 5 out of their last 6. So they're rounding into form. This Galaxy team is. Austin is kind of going the opposite. They've hit kind of a skid here. After 21 matches, 15 goals for, 23 goals against, with a 7-8-6 record. Negative 8 goal differential, 27 points, 9th place, last playoff spot. Of course, the Galaxy win puts them within 9 points of this team. 1.29 points per game. Their last match was a scoreless draw at home versus the New England Revolution. Before that, it was a 4-2 penalty shootout win to go through in the U.S. Cup into the semifinal. That game was 2-2 after regulation. But before that, it was a 2-0 loss on the road versus Seattle. Seattle, always a hard place to go and play. They discovered that for sure. Ananda, this is could be one of those dreaded two word phrases that you hate so much that
could be, but Austin's, I mean, they're a playoff team, so I don't, and we're gonna talk about it a little bit too. They're missing one of their star guys, and I think in that sense that it could be. You look at that roster and you say, well, they've lost a lot of their attacking firepower, but we'll talk about it. I think Austin is presents a very different proposition than DC United, even a Vancouver Whitecaps team that did not have their full squad. I think they're going to present us different problems. So let's talk about it.
Well, the Galaxy looks to extend that 3-match home winning streak by receiving Austin on Wednesday in another midweek match. It'll be the 10th time these teams have played each other, with the Galaxy leading the all-time series 5-3-1. And the first meeting between these teams earlier this year, the Galaxy lost 1-0 at Q2 Stadium there in Austin on April 19th. In 4 all-time league matches played against Austin at home, the Galaxy hold an unbeaten record of 4-0-0. There have been no draws between these two teams in the last 3 matches, so look for goals in this one. Ananda, hopefully one day we'll go to Austin and we'll catch a Galaxy win, because it hasn't been that way for us in the past, or really whenever we've traveled to see the Galaxy.
Yeah, and exactly, bro. I'm telling you, after that last one from New York, I don't even want to know if I want to go anymore. I feel like I'm just in the team. But yeah, we got to go back to Austin. Of course, shout out to Hernan and the We Are Austin TV boys, man. We got to link up with them for sure. But yeah, we got to think about that next one. I don't even want to know if I want to go to a road game next year.
Yeah,
it's cursed.
Well, we know who's missing. Ricky Pooch. Other than that, the Galaxy have everybody available, but Austin is missing a big piece in Brandon Vasquez. In 19 matches started, he has 5 goals. He went down with a knee injury. and he's going to be a huge miss for this team. And I just don't see where they're going to get the offense. I mean, it's not a team that scores a lot already, but now their focal point is gone. What are you seeing out of a Galaxy starting lineup?
Yeah, so this is where we talked about, roster management for Greg, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how Greg deals with this, right? I think by just the way Austin is playing also, and the short rest in between games, I would not be surprised, Rob, if I see Lucas Sanabria back in the starting lineup. Someone put it in the chat earlier, I think it was GCam. I think he said something about like, is it mean to say that I don't see the upside in Sanabria? I think, to be fair to him, well, number one, just depends on what your expectations are, but I don't think he's been given like a solid stint or like an extended run just quite yet. But from the minutes that I have seen, man, he's just a different type of midfielder than Diego. He's much more combative. He covers a lot of ground. And I think what Greg was saying earlier in those post-match comments, the link between the attack and the defense, that midfield, winning the midfield battle, right? And winning the midfield in these games, a lot of that has to do with just where you need to be positionally, how you need to show up for your teammates. And then, of course, using your physical attributes in Lucas's case to maybe cover up some of those like positional things, right? Maybe he needs to be closer to Edwin in certain cases, or where he needs to be in those transitions and those attacks. And I think the good thing is Diego's giving him a little bit of a reprieve in that right now, right? And maybe Lucas is learning a little bit from the sidelines. So, but in this match where it might get a little cagey, we've seen Austin and LA recently. There's some bad blood brewing between those teams, as we've seen those recently. Remember that nasty, who was that? The Beto challenge, right? From last year on Ricky. I wonder if that's still going to be lingering in the back of these guys' minds. But in any case, I think this is going to be a little bit of a slugfest. It's going to be a little bit of a grudge match. So you might need Lucas Sanabria's physical attributes in this game and the way he's able to cover ground. And also, Marco, knock on wood, he's been very healthy. But you know what? These 2 games in 4-day stretches, I'm sure it's not going to be easy for him. And of course, you've got El Tráfico looming as well. So it'll be interesting to see what Greg does there. Does he give Marco maybe a 60-minute cameo? Does he start him off the bench? What does he do there, Rob? Not sure. That'll be interesting for sure. I expect to see a little bit of rotation, just given the lack of rest days in between.
Yeah, so do I. I expect Greg to maybe shift around 2 or 3 pieces here, especially to guys like Marco Reus and potentially even Diego Fagundes, who, we saw how important they are when they're at their top to this Galaxy side, and they'll be very important in an El Tráfico match. But Ananda, on the flip side, I was kind of already talking about it with Austin. They've kind of lost that focal point offensively, and you're looking at a team way back when we had the boys on from We Are Austin TV to kind of preview the CVA match. We called out that there was no real playmaker, real 10 for this team, and they continue to lack one. And I think that you see just how much they're suffering for one by how many goals they've scored. Elias Sanchez and Barrera just aren't those type of players. I mean, they're more like 6s and 8s, respectively.
Yeah. Well, you know what they're doing, Rob, to counteract that is they're using the speed on the wings. So they're using Gallagher and particularly Osman Bukhari for those chance creation, and that's how they create their chances, is from those wing positions. So for the Galaxy, whoever our wingers are and our fullbacks have to be really alert, because those guys go bomb up and down the left and right hand sides, and that's how they try to chance create, is from those wide positions. So I'm sure Greg and his scouting team and his coaches are going to be looking at that to see how we can measure up against that sort of threat on the wings.
What are the stats that might influence our predictions here?
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it already. This is not a good offensive team, right? Goals per match, dead last in the league at 0.7. They're one of the few teams, them and DC United, that have scored less goals than the Galaxy this season, right? So, and they don't create a lot of offense, Rob. despite having a guy like Brandon Vasquez in their team. Shots on target per match, 3.5. Big chances, they only create 50. That's sort of towards the bottom third of the league. But like I always say, it would be just the Galaxy to get this team unwound, right? And for them to play a blinder, a blinder. And but again, I wouldn't let the lack of a number 10 or the lack of a playmaker fool you. They do have threat, especially on those wing positions with Gallagher and Bukhari feeding in those balls to the two forwards. Right now they're playing Rubio and Uzuni, but let's see if that changes as well. But Rob, the one thing that they do very well at, and they do excel at, this is sort of like what they hang their lunch pail on, which is the defense. Top 3 in goals conceded per match. They don't allow a lot of chances either. Actually conceded in the top 10 in the league. And here's the big one, Rob, that we always talk about with Austin FC, which is the guy that they call Brad Stuver. Top 7 in the league, saves per match, 3.6. And he is top 5 in that post shot XG number, that stat that we always like. Rob, he's prevented over 4 goals from hitting the back of the net this year, plus 4.3 post shot XG numbers. He's always been good. He's always been a thorn in the Galaxy side. So watch out for that. He's like a Roman Berkey, man. He can pull out a masterclass and win the game for Austin single-handedly. And this is why, even though they've only scored 15 goals, they've only allowed 23, and they're in 9th place, and they're in a playoff spot, is because of their defense, and in a big part due to Brad Stuver.
We've brought up Stuver. You've also talked about Osman Bukhari there on the wings, a guy that we haven't talked about, and probably the guy that needs to be on for them if they're going to have any success. And of course, it remains to be seen if he'll even be in the lineup. Owen Wolf, who has the most big chances created for this team with 9 and the most assists with 4. So it remains to be seen whether he'll actually feature. But we do know that this twosome here of Rubio and Uzuni have only contributed with 4 goal contributions between them both. So both of them need to be on for Austin to have any chance of upsetting the Galaxy at home. Ananda, let's get to it. For the Galaxy to win this match. Wait a second. Before I do that, chat, start dropping your predictions in chat. Let us know who you think is going to win this match. Ananda's going first today. So anyway, for the Galaxy to win this match, they have to.
Yeah, I think for this one, I'm thinking about Stuver a lot, man. I think he might be the difference maker in this game. But I think for the Galaxy, for them to have put themselves in a nice position in this game where they're up and they can get 3 points in this game, I think they've got to unsettle not only the back line, but they've got to unsettle Stuver. So what does that mean? That means us not sitting back. We're at home, so we've got to be the protagonists here. We've got to be on the attack. We've got to be in attack mode. We've got to be in the front foot, and we've got to unsettle that back 4 right away. So now, granted, even if we pepper the goal and Stuver's making these great saves, that's fine because he's still thinking, right? That back 4 is still thinking. So whether it's hitting him on the left side, on the right side, down through the middle, maybe Nasi making a ghosting run, maybe one of the midfielders making a deep lying run, whatever that is, we've got to unsettle them early. We can't make them feel comfortable. What Austin's going to try to do, Rob, is they're going to try to muck up the game. They're going to slow down the game. Their possession stats, they're one of the bottom of the league in possession too. So they're going to let us have the ball, but they're going to try to make this game ugly. You saw even like I posted on the slide there, their form table. They haven't scored more than 2 goals in any game in the last 10 games. So they're going to try to keep this low scoring, right? So it's up for the Galaxy to rely on their attacking firepower. And I mean, we always say this, they've got to execute in that final third. They got to execute in that last
favorite
action.
word.
But more so than anything, they've got to pepper that goal often and early. And I think what that'll do is that'll destabilize the back 4. That'll make the back 4 sort of think, maybe get them a little bit out of possession, maybe stretch them out in a way that we can hit balls over the top, we can pass through the lines, and we can hit them where we're very good, which is on the break, right? And let Marco sort of pull the strings there in the midfield. So that's what we got to do, man. We got to start off fast and unsettle that back line early, because we know Stuver can come up with a big save at any time. But of course, simple maths, right? The more chances you have on goal, one of them is about to go in. So we've just got to keep peppering that goal and be on the front foot.
For the Galaxy to win this match, they have to do more of the same. Game by game, at least in the last 5, I've seen them kind of do building blocks. And game by game, it gets a little better, a little stronger, except for that blip for DC United's goal. But other than that, the defense has been great. So they just need to continue building on these performances. I think you're starting to see a Galaxy team that's helping themselves get the results that they were kind of missing earlier in the year. They were making 1 or 2 mistakes that were just directly contributing to their downfall. You're not seeing that from them right now. More of the same, please. I know you and Dr. Raquinho, he told me that you guys were working on these stats. You guys ordered some pizza, drank some root beer as well.
Yeah, had a few choice bevs, but of course, as always, so these are brought to you by Dr. Raquinho and D Ratings. Here's the probabilities, guys. LA Galaxy, the home team, 49.3% probability. Austin, 25.4% with a 25% probability for a draw as well. Again, we need maximum points here, guys. So let's lean into that 50%. Projected goals, Rob, 1.57 to Austin FC's 1.04. So again, depending on which goalkeeper plays a blinder, who has a moment of magic, this is going to be saying it's probably going to be either a 1-1 or a 2-1 Galaxy win. But of course, that's what Vegas is saying. But what are we saying? And more importantly, because I never go first, you should know this by now, chat always goes first. So let's go to the chat and see what score predictions are out there. So Zippers Forever says 4-1 G's. That would be lovely. Gcam says 2-2.
No,
we give up
Gcam,
2 first
no.
and then tie it. Gcam, no, Papa. More positivity. Anyways, you're entitled to your opinion, sir, but I just hope that doesn't happen. Joe13 Cool says 3-1 Galaxy. Comments 96. I think we take it and open it up 4-2 G's.
Ooh, I like it.
Wow. Yeah. And Joe13 Cool says if we get an early goal, it's Jover. And yeah, so I think that is, I'm trying to look up something because I guess you're going to make me go first now. I'm trying to look up what the scoreline was last year at Dignity Health Sports Park. The last game, what was that scoreline? It was a 2-1 Galaxy win. So I think I'm going to go with I think I'm going to go with the same scoreline, Papa. I'm going to go with the same scoreline. 2-1, just like DC United. Look, 2-0 would be lovely. The clean sheet, I think, would mean more to the Galaxy than the 2 goals. But at this point in the season, I don't care. I need the 3 points. If you want to get my hopes up to just dash them all away later, you need the 3 points. And that's what I'm going to go with. 2-1 Galaxy. I think Stuar's still going to play a good game. But like I said, I think the Galaxy are going to come out firing. They're at home, man. I think this home cooking's been really good to them. And I expect, the one thing that I hope, not expect, but just more hope, Gabriel Peck's been missing a lot of open shots lately. He's been fluffing his lines. I'm hoping he gets that breakthrough goal just like JP did a couple of games ago. And so I'm calling it. Gabriel Peck is going to open the score sheet, and we're going to ride out a 2-1 victory from there. Maybe same game state as last time, Rob. Start with 2 goals. Austin pulls back 1. It gets nervy. And yeah, but hopefully we leave with all 3 points. Heading
2-0.
Heading to BMO. I like it.
Going 2-0, man. The defense is going to clean itself up a little bit. There will be no blip, and they get the clean sheet. Galaxy get the 2 goals. They head into El Tráfico riding a 3-game win streak, and snaps at that point. Anything's possible. I mean, you know that the conditions are different for El Tráfico.
Yeah, that could be a good and bad thing, but we will circle the wagons on that when we get there in the preview. But yeah, man, that's That's gonna be a very important El Tráfico. I think for both sides actually, but obviously more so for the
Speaking
Galaxy.
of, I don't know if you caught this, but it seems like Aaron Long has done his ACL, and speaking from a team that's going through it with Ricky, get well soon to Aaron
Yeah.
Long, and his recovery. But yeah, that's where we are, Guneros. That's where we are, LA Galaxy fans. We're calling Galaxy victories. Ananda 2-1, myself 2-0. A bunch of you guys put in Galaxy wins, except for our friend GCam. Anyway, hopefully GCam's wrong, but
Hopefully he comes around.
yeah, and hopefully it comes around. But anyway, on Thursday, July 17th, we'll bring you our Austin match reaction and our El Tráfico preview pod. And then a week from today, on Monday, July 21st, we'll bring you an El Tráfico reaction to what is hopefully a great game, but also hopefully a Galaxy win. Ananda, anything to add before we get on out of here?
Yeah, I'm just gonna read a couple of these last ones for chat to give them the last word. So GCamp says positive Gary died 7 games ago.
Damn.
And the response to that from Comments 96 was damn, that's real. And I echo this wholeheartedly. Joe 13 cool. Win good, win bad, win ugly. Just win, baby. That's exactly it. And at least for me, man, I'm gonna leave you this one last one. I remember last year you said this is right before MLS Cup final, actually, Rob. You said, if you usually when you try to find something good to say, you let someone smarter than you kind of say it for you, right? And so I'm gonna leave you guys with this. This is from the great Joe Tutino. He just posted on X recently. He said, "Be good to everyone, even the ones who treat you poorly, just because you're better than that." And that's the sentiment that I'm going to leave you with, guys. Those are some wise words from a very, very wise man, Mr. Joe Tutino. And yeah, bro, that's all I'm going to leave you guys with, man.
I'm gonna say be petty and slap someone. No, I'm just playing. No, but be good to each other, y'all. We have a super chat from our brother GCam saying,
Shout out GCam.
and
sir.
yes, Primo, yes, we do love Joe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here with us. We'll be back with you guys on Thursday. Of course, remember, you guys can go ahead and follow along with the post-match presser immediately after the game. Just go ahead and jump on our channel, and you guys will catch that press conference as it's happening. So go ahead, and if you want to find out exactly what's happening in the moments directly after a Galaxy win or a loss, that's the place to be. Go ahead and check out that post-match press conference with us, guys. And we'll be back with you soon. Without further ado, only one thing left to say. G's up. Te quiero tanto, tanto.